Hello, Monika. World Hemp
Hello.
Congress calling you.
How are you?
We thank you very much. And how are you?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank you. I
We
checked that you phoned me before.
We hear that you have a great innovation here.
Noise?
We hear that you have innovation here. We call, right, Monika? In
Yes.
Spain? Yes. So, Cannabric.
Thank you. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you very nice. You
No,
send some
no,
slides or you will
okay.
just talk about it?
Welcome. Thank you very much, Marta, for this proposal to take part of this innovative technology thing. And thank you very much for the audience for your attention. I'm Monika Brümmer. I'm an architect involved with hemp buildings since more than 20 years. And I'm the developer of Cannabric, load-bearing hemp brick for construction. The next slide, please.
Monika, just a second. We opened slides already. Sorry for this.
Okay. Okay.
Second or two, because technically we run very fast.
Okay, okay.
So we are with first slide already, and we jump in second slide. So.
Okay, go over to the second slide directly. It's all in all 17 slides. I try to make quick because you talked about 15 minutes, and that's how I plus minus prepared the presentation.
Yes, take your time. You have quality presentation. Thank you.
Can you see it? It's good to see. You have a big screen?
Yes, we see you.
Okay.
Thank you. You can start it.
How many people sit in the audience, plus minus?
Yes, audience hear you, and online they can see you already. You can start it, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. I got involved with hemp, or in touch with hemp in 1995 when I was an architecture student, and this was within the legal debates in Germany, and I decided to use hemp for my project Final Career, which was in this time something extremely innovative, because only a handful of people in this time were aware of the possibilities of hemp. After my project Final Career, I moved to Spain, and I got aware of the poor performance of most of the buildings bricks which were used in construction. That was the reason that I decided to design an own brick and for to have available, comfortable, high performance building material for myself. And I didn't think mainly about business at this time. I also still was not aware that hemp would get something very important and that these technologies get extended to the whole world in a couple of years. The first factories I started to run in 1999, and the second factory, which was an investment of 180,000 euros, got subsidized by further aid program for rural development. Due to the low impact of this factory, it got an authorization to be placed in a protected area, which is the picturesque area of cave livings in Wurtix, subterranean livings. I also sit now at this moment in a subterranean living, that's why it is a little bit dark here. The factory project, which is a surface of 1,500 square meter outside and square meters in caves, got 2012 awarded with a special mention at Endesa Awards for Sustainable Building because it is restored with the same materials I use in eco-construction and also Cannabric. Next slide, please.
Yes, slide 4.
Close to the factory, there are a lot of caves going to be restored, And I wanted to make use of local binders, so I took the waste material of the cave restorations with a clay binder for the binder of my hand building material, to also try to combine them both to a high comfortable level, comparable to the comfort we have in the local cave dwellings, which maintain stable temperature during the whole year, but reducing the wall thickness to only 30 centimeters. The clay also allows me to produce hemp building materials of high mechanical strength and a very, very interesting fire resistance to make possible a 3-floor building with only 30 centimeter walls. Next slide, please.
Slide 5.
No, the 4 now. The 4 now. Slide 4.
4 now, sorry.
It's a number 4 in the right corner below. You see number 4.
Yes.
Okay.
State of development, hemp building. Is all right?
The state of development in that time, 1995 to 1997, when I started to develop the brick, was there were existing non-load-bearing constructions with hemp-lime in France. They possess a low thermal conductivity, very great for northern or middle European conditions, but need vertical wooden structure. In this time, no hemp bricks were manufactured so far, and no other binders than lime or maybe also cement were used in the context with hemp sheaves. For Spain, I found this system too expensive because Spain is a country poor in wood, and especially South Spain has other climate conditions. So I tried to develop a material adapted to the South European and North African climate, and also reducing the costs by not needing a wooden structure. So I decided to develop a load-bearing brick. Next slide. Now the number 5.
Yes. Raw materials.
The mineral-based binder which I used is the most sustainable and the most available binder all over the world. It also allows hemp building in countries without binder manufacturing industries. So it is adaptive for countries in development, and it is possible to use in a non-fired state, so it doesn't need to get fired to be used as a binder in construction. It has a very high thermal conductivity, thermal inertia, so it is very apt for to equilibrate temperature differences, and it is a very plastic binder, so allows the same hemp content but obtaining more density than with the hemp-lime concrete, which is usually used in Northern Europe. Next slide, please. Number 6.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks to this invention in Spain, Spain is so far the only country in the world with load-bearing hemp buildings. Since 1999, about 200 new buildings and 100 mixed systems were built with Cannabric, and with an increasing number of restorations as well, and also decoration works. At this slide you can see a few examples of load-bearing Cannabric buildings in Spain. And we go to the next slide, number 7. Environmental view of Cannabric buildings.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Using renewable resources and fast-growing materials like hemp in construction, we can combat the dangerous interference of humans in the climate change. but also benefit the health of the users and reduce the costs of future recycling. The sector with the most contribution to climate change is construction. This is well known. So we have a very huge impact using hemp in building and especially reduce the costs of climatization of buildings, also the impact what is related to this climatization of buildings. Next slide.
Yes, slide 8.
The carbon footprint. Okay. When we compare the carbon footprint of a conventional one-family house with hemp building systems, a conventional building has about 30 to 50 tons. I talk about a building done with ceramic bricks, insulating based on petroleum derivatives, steel concrete buildings, etc. And with hemp-free systems, lime binders can be achieved a carbon neutral building. But when we use, like in Cannabric, a clay binder, we can achieve a negative carbon footprint of 2 to -8 tons in one family dwelling. Next slide, please.
Yes.
Using Cannabric has a high environmental benefit through the carbon capture in the life cycle of the building, and it contributes this to the impact of humans on climate change. It's also avoiding overexploitation of natural resources because we don't use binders to exploit mineral resources, and hemp building is also according to the international guidelines of energy efficiency. Next slide.
Yes.
From the sustainable point of view, Cannabric buildings have user-friendly and risk-free building control, and also combat the sick building syndrome. They don't have the pathologies of modern building materials provoked through the low permeability and create more responsible building industry and market. Next slide.
Yes.
With the next slides, the last slides, I will give you some examples of the results or the expansion, the results of the invention on the impact on the invention on or the possibilities it creates to expand in the market by examples which really happened within this invention. On the demand of several international clients, I was involved with product development for other countries and know-how transfer, for example, in response to the need of pre-made products for economic or social reasons. Next slide.
Yes, we see international.
2011, the International Hemp Building Association placed the second International Hemp Building Symposium in Granada and made possible an international divulgation of hemp building technologies through a visit to Cannabric factory. So this invention also gave us opportunities to show to the world what is possible in hemp building, or in alternative to the conventional system. Next slide.
13, base.
Yes, the invention made possible collaboration in scientific studies about hemp building materials based on my practical experience as manufacturer and architect, because scientists usually don't have relation to the practical side of the materials. Only very few researches exist on the employment of plant materials in mortars, so far, and there are many more studies needed to observe synergies between binders and plant materials, or pathologies, or durability of those new kind of materials. With these collaborations, I already published several scientific articles. I give you 2 examples. The next slide, please.
Yes, convention.
This made possible international collaboration in product development based on other plant materials. For example, the valorization of plant-based materials for constructions in Senegal, where I was involved in an environmental project to make use of an invest plant in Senegal River. Next slide. And I also, I'm still involved in a humanitarian and environmental project, development project, by making use of hemp-based material of hemp culture. This project wants to create new socio-economic alternatives to combat dependence on drug trafficking, over the use of hemp in the valorization of architectural and environmental context in the historic area of hemp culture in Morocco. Over this initiative, next slide please. Next slide.
Yes, we see.
Over this initiative, I got also involved or invited to take part of the Climate Summit in Paris 2015, where hemp was the first time introduced by Initiative Chambre over the World Hemp Quarter. Next slide, and the last slide. Recently, I also participated at the Mediterranean Climate Summit, Cannabric technologies. The second Mediterranean Climate Summit took place in Tangier last month, and I was building a hemp portal, which promotes my activities in this area of the reef. And those were just some examples of the wide range of integral impact which only one invention has on the sustainable development worldwide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Monika. You are amazing. Amazing project. Yes, questions, please. Yes? Yeah, microphone, please. You have questions here.
Hello, Monika. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we hear us.
Is your colleague here?
My name is Sani. We met in Ireland in 2009 on the first symposium on hemp building.
I don't hear good.
You hear me now?
Will you change microphone? Sorry.
Not really. Magda, I can hear very good, but...
yeah, he will take your question now. Sunny will take your question now, Monika.
You hear me? You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First question. For these bricks, how long does it take for them to dry, and how do you do it?
I'm placed in an area 1,000 meters over the level of the sea, and there's a high pressure, and it's also a very dry area. So I generally don't have drying problems all over the year. In some parts of the year, drying is even too quick, so I have to take measurements that drying is more slowly. But generally, when I have a lot of material together in the drying process, the bricks need about 2 till 3.5 weeks to dry completely.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Okay. One more question. What's the firmness of these bricks? What's the strength in megapascals? For example, classical bricks have 10 megapascals.
Magda, could you tell me what he was asking, because I didn't hear.
What's the firmness of the bricks?
Firmness of the bricks. What's the firmness?
What? What's
Strength.
Strength.
Okay, it's about 17 kilo square centimeter. That means when you have, for example, a house of 1 floor, you need about 1 kilo per square centimeter. You have 1 kilo per square centimeter load. In a 3-floor building, you maybe have about 3 or up to 4 kilos per square centimeters. The brick have in 28 days 17 kilo per square centimeters.
Okay. So what's the thickness of the outer external wall?
I didn't hear everything. Sorry.
The thickness of the external wall.
The thickness of the external walls 30 centimeters.
30.
For load-bearing walls, I recommend 30 centimeters.
Okay. One more question. In this canap panel, this panel that you are doing, does it have any reinforcement inside?
I didn't hear.
If panel have reinforcement inside. Sorry, I'm just a little tired too.
Another time, please.
Did you hear?
I don't understand.
The canap panel that you are doing, does it has a reinforcement inside, like the steel in the concrete slab?
Magda, could you explain? I don't hear. It's too far away. It's like
have panel armature inside.
The panel, if it has some arm, no, it is completely without. I managed to make panels of up to 6 meters long and to lift them without any reinforcement with steel concrete.
Okay, thank you.
Only by the hemp itself, because the hemp has fibers and shifts. It's very important that the shifts have a certain fiber content, because this reinforces a lot the matrix, and that's why hemp allows working without cracks. I never ever observed cracks in a very huge hemp floor slab, or in a slab under the roof, or in a huge panel. I never ever observed any cracks. I don't know still where the limits are, because I was making surfaces of 200 square meters completely crack free.
So another question you have? A lot of questions here, Monika, for you.
No problem. That's good. Good sign.
Hi, this is Sagar.
I'm interested in this material.
Yes. Interesting project. So your question is?
Hi, this is Sagar from the UK. My question, I've been studying a bit about renewable energy and building materials. So I do speak to quite a few people with regards to building materials and standards in the UK. My question to you quickly is that with the buildings you've built so far, what challenges have you been dealt with from people from the conventional materials industry? And especially when I'm coming from the UK, where there is too much focus still on concrete, how do you see the way forward to challenge conventional concrete with materials like Cannabric? Did you hear that?
Can you understand question?
I didn't understand everything, but I think I can.
Yes. In short.
The conventional builders usually don't accept easily these materials in Spain, because Spain in the last 50 years only was working with steel concrete pillars, and the bricks only were used to fill in the space between the steel concrete pillars. So it's very difficult for Spanish builders to think about a load-bearing construction, even that all buildings before the last 50 years were built, all rural buildings were built that way with load-bearing systems. But this tradition got completely lost, and it's a reintroduction at the same time by selling this brick. It's a reintroduction of old systems which are completely forgotten and substituted by the vertical construction, because all these technologies come from the vertical construction but are not needed for a one-family dwelling. So builders are used to translate what they learned in the vertical construction to the one-family dwellings, and this is an error because those materials are too resistant for one-family dwelling. We don't have the need to waste so much energy in producing building materials when we only need to build a house of 1, 2, 3, or 4 floors. These steel concrete things make sense with vertical construction, but not with small buildings.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Monika. We wish see you next year with us in Slovenia or any around the world. Anyway, your project is amazing. Your work is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.